Is this right? This? Okay. In a startling description, the UN food chief warned the world with the words knocking on famine's door. He called what we're facing a perfect storm of a perfect storm, and he's not alone. Barron's published that a food shortage could be coming even in the United States. Farmers see it too. John Boyd, a fourth generation farmer, told Fox News that we are going to see some empty food shelves in the coming months. That's why getting survival food is more important now than ever. Create your own stockpile of the best selling For Patriots survival food kits. Now, it's not your ordinary food. We're talking good for 25 years, super survival food. It's hand packed in a family owned facility in the United States of America and given jobs to over 200 Americans, which is very, very important. They have different delicious breakfasts and lunches and dinners. You can make these meals in less than 20 minutes. All you have to do is add boiling water, simmer, and serve. Now, right now, for the next few days, listeners of the Wayne Dupree podcast will get up to 10% on their first order at forpatriots.com by using the code name Wayne. Again, you will get 10%, actually 10% on your first order at patriots.com by using the code name Wayne. Just go to forpatriots.com and use the code name Wayne to start your stockpile today. Don't get left behind, my friends. Don't get left behind. Well,
away we go.
Here we go.
We were saying something big was happening. I guess I didn't see this.
I damn sure didn't see this. Damn. Welcome to your show. Wayne Dupree, Godfather of Conservative Radio, Mr. Hutch Bailey Jr.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here.
Mr. J.R. Robinson, Mr. the junior of the bunch, J.R.
Top of the morning, everybody. Hey, we got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Thanks for tuning in on Red Voice Media. Forewarning everybody, there's a chance you might need to flip over to the Wayne Dupree Show Rumble channel or the Red Voice Media Rumble channel or redvoicemedia.com. Because, I don't know if you guys know this. Big Tech doesn't always like when we talk about stuff like this.
No, they don't. And, all right, let's get to it. Somebody's getting their ass waxed today. Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, told people, get out of Dodge. He basically said, he basically warned them. He was like, give me 24 hours to get out of town. Basically, because we're at war.
Called up 300,000 reservists.
We're at war.
On the videos coming out, I mean, this whole thing's live streamed. It's insane.
I will say you need to be careful on the videos because there's several videos out there that are from years ago.
Right.
That's true.
And they just changed the headline.
That is true.
I got caught up in one of those.
Did you?
I mean, I didn't. I was just watching it. I didn't share it or anything like that. But I saw one that I thought was real, and then it turned out that it was from 2021 or something like that, or some other year.
some of that stuff's interesting. Like one of the biggest videos floating around is the Iranian parliament chanting "Death to America," and people are pointing out, well, that's from a couple of years ago, and it's like, yeah, guys, they still feel that way. And our administration just gave them $6 billion.
There's Americans in New York City and Washington, D.C. doing the same damn thing.
Right.
That's the worst part of this whole thing to me, is how they've turned our youth so badly.
Right.
Well, here's another thing how it's worse is that you have people that are even though you're seeing the way that Hamas attacked Israel, and we're going to go into that in a second, but the way that they attack and the way that they just went and start killing people,
women and children,
they just start killing people, and they're taking female soldiers. Well, one, two, maybe, I don't know. There was a report. Well, whatever. Dragging them through the street. Well, putting them in the back of a vehicle naked. And
oh man,
running her through the street. That, I mean, that was weird.
I listened to Dr. Savage last night. I mean, it was bitch. And he's not sugarcoating anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he says you look at some of those videos and you see that young woman with blood on the back of her pants, you know what happened to her.
That one, yeah, I saw that one too. I was
like,
what
happened to her. That's an anal rape. I'm sorry. And it's not, you can't be pussyfooting around this stuff. These are animals, man.
Well, and the most horrible one was they had those paragliders that fly into a peaceful music festival, and all the party goers, there's a bunch of videos dropping on TikTok and whatnot. They thought it was part of the show. So they're standing there like, oh, look at this. People are parachuting in. And then these guys land, and then they put people at the entrance, and people start leaving. And so far reports are over 250 people are dead. And then that first naked gal that was in the back of the truck that was getting driven around, she was actually a German citizen that was in Israel for a music festival. They identified her based on her tattoo. So she was not an Israeli soldier.
Okay. But I mean, and that's even worse.
Right.
If you're attacking civilians, and Savage wasn't friendly on that quote unquote musical concert. He said it was a drug-fueled rave is what that was. That wasn't just like a concert. So, I mean, not that matters, but the whole thing is what's really disturbing me is I'm starting to see, I don't look at events like this the same as I used to. I used to look at them and just take them at face value and I, rah, rah, rah and all that. But I saw 2 reports of ex-Israeli Defense Force intelligence analysts and said there is absolutely 0 chance that the IDF did not know this was coming. There's no way to get close to Israel's borders that way with that many people. And that makes you think, we always look at Israel as like this hallowed country, which I got that part. I understand that. Right. But they got a deep state too. Benjamin Netanyahu's the same as our politicians.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're all, and you start looking at this and you see the Hamas thing and the infiltration of Israel. And you look at Mexico and the same thing's happening to us. You look at the people coming across, and I saw some terrifying conspiracy theories, if you will, or, however you want to say it, of when are they going to turn the sleepers on in America? There's sleepers coming across that border. We saw the Chinese. I mean, they had military haircuts coming across.
And if you think about it, all these atrocities were committed, they're saying, by less than 2,000 people. And I've seen different projections, but they say at least 20 to 50,000 people from Iran have come across the border in the last couple of years. And when you see all that going on in Israel, which is one of the most heavily defended parts of the world, and they have all their systems fail, they have the Iron Dome not work right, their security cameras don't pick it up, and all that death and destruction was done by like 1,000 people. And I mean, look at some counties like Dearborn, Michigan. There's a huge population from Iran that's in Dearborn, Michigan.
Rashida Tlaib is Iraqi.
Yep.
I'll tell you, and this, Wayne, you'll get this, and you probably will too, Jason, but it's a military thing. I'm a logistician, right? You don't win wars with John Wayne's. John Wayne got to have some bullets, right? I saw a headline today that stunned me. My entire life, my adversaries, people that I would go up against, used the AK-47 and a 7.62 round. These soldiers are chambered in 5.56. In other words, the weapons that they used are American weapons.
Yep.
5.56. And I just wanted to remind everybody, 22,000 Humvees, 637 M1117 armored security vehicles, 169 APCs, and down to 64,000 crew-served machine guns, 358,000 M4 carbines. I mean, these are our weapons, and they're from Afghanistan.
Yep. Yeah, we leave.
To hear that Iran gave Hamas the go-ahead to do this, and so many people try to connect the billions of dollars that
Joe Biden
released to Iran last week a couple weeks ago. So many people in the media said, no, it didn't happen like that. No. Y'all are wrong. Conspiracy. Okay, well, the common denominator is this. Did Hamas do this before the money was transferred? Yes or no? No, they didn't. It happened after the money was transferred or put in a offshore account or whatnot. Oh, well, they don't have the money yet. Okay, fine. It still happened after the money. Somehow, if Iran doesn't have it, it's in Bitcoin somewhere. I don't know.
It's in Qatar.
It's in Qatar, yeah.
Well,
what? And they think you're stupid. I mean,
exactly.
Like the talking points from the media.
Fox News was all over it yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean, the talking points from the media are this weapon can only be used for humanitarian purposes. And if I look at Wayne's finances and say, Wayne, you need to pay your mortgage and buy ammo, you know what? I'm going to pay your mortgage for you. You can just switch over and use all the rest of the money for your ammo. It doesn't even take like a complicated conspiracy theory to figure this out.
No, it doesn't.
What they did was they took the money. We had it when it was frozen. It was in a South Korean bank. Yep. And they transferred it from the South Korean bank to the bank in Qatar. And the bank in Qatar is the hub of all the terror. You know, this is gonna blow you away. But not just the terrorists, but the CIA and our government uses Qatar for funding. That's how they funded Benghazi.
Yeah.
It's deep.
Yep.
It's
deep.
You
were talking about those paragliders and stuff. I looked at a movie. Okay. It looks like a movie set.
Yeah, you know what the movie is? Red Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the old Red Dawn. I don't know nothing about the new one. But it surprised me that all the people knew about the old one.
Nobody watched the new one.
Everybody's comments and everybody said, that's a Red Dawn. Like, damn, y'all watched that too? I mean, I had it on repeat because
that scared me. That paratrooper, when you were in that classroom scene at the beginning, when the guys were jumping in, man.
What did he say? He said, turn into your pride and bred a good frenzy. Well now, my friends. Well now. The next thing you know, man, he looked at.
Well, and here's what's blowing me away too is that nobody's drawing the obvious conclusion that this is a holy war. I mean, Hezbollah
Thank you very much.
Extreme Arabs, Muslims, whatever sect. They hate Jews and they hate Americans, and they are starting this war. They're making thousands of martyrs. If you look at all these videos they're sharing of these atrocities, their audience, while we're horrified, their audience is like, way to go. And
people in Congress.
right.
These foreigners that we say are Americans like Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and AOC. No, get out.
You know
And
what?
there's
They
many
came out.
people. There's many people in Iran, in Egypt, in Iraq, in a bunch of countries in the Middle East that share their sympathies. You know, they want death to the infidels, you know.
And the more video, well, over the weekend we see videos of Israelis getting hit. Now, I mean, I guess for some reason they thought that Benjamin Netanyahu wasn't going to hit back, but not only didn't hit back, he is trying to make that a playground. But all the videos now that you see is on Hamas, or is on the Palestinians that are getting swooped up and taken to the hospital and stuff. And sooner or later, you're going to see, 45 kids were hitting.
Oh, they're already starting.
And the 101st Airborne will be there in the morning.
Yeah.
Well,
See, that's the way I look at this. I look at this like, look, there's nobody in the Middle East that didn't know that the IDF was going to come down on them. There's nobody.
right.
Everybody knows that their back is against the wall. They are going to do whatever they have to do.
He
So
told
then
you.
then you got to ask yourself, why? Why did this go ahead? And you got to be worried. Me anyway. I'm sitting here with the realization that my government would rather have this country burned to the ground than let us take charge of it.
Yep.
Right. Oh,
And that
true.
scares me.
That's true.
Well, and it's Netanyahu came out and said, we're going to flatten Gaza. It's going to be a parking lot.
And
Get
they
out.
should. And they should.
Get out. And Hezbollah started a counter narrative with the citizens that said, we want you to stay. So they're looking for all those images of, I mean, people are going to die. It's going to be ugly.
Hezbollah is joining the fight, by the way, too.
And just to let everybody know who Hezbollah is, that's Iran.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Hamas is Palestinian and Hezbollah is Iran.
Y'all were talking about the people coming across the border and stuff. This happened in New York over the weekend. I put this on my Facebook page, but this happened in New York.
To hotel rooms, but what about the American homeless though?
As you can see.
But look at them. They broke into the country illegally. Look at them.
African countries.
Look at this. All different cultures. They broke in the country illegally. And they getting put in hotels. What about the American people? What about the American homeless? What about the American homeless? They can't sleep on benches.
Big luggage.
They got tents everywhere. What about the American homeless? How come they're not going to hotels? What about the American
So the news is not
veteran?
anything. You see that? People.
How come he ain't going in a hotel? The homeless
Some
veteran.
more of the bikes right here. Let's just see what's going on with the bikes. How they get around. Man, whoever's selling scooters in New York or the Jersey area, they have came up big. The scooters everywhere. I thought they were talking to me.
Yeah, that happened in New York, and actually, it's been happening in Chicago. These people that are getting dropped off into other cities, they're asking, and we showed the video. They're asking, "Well, can we go to Chicago?
Yeah,
can we go to New York?" And all of those people that was going into that New York hotel, I didn't see one woman. Now, this woman was out here in front with her boyfriend, I guess, or her husband. But all the people that were going into the hotel were young men.
Military-age men.
Military-age men. One of them even had a crew cut almost like he was already in the military anyway. Okay? Now, I don't know whether they're part of Hezbollah or whether they're part of Hamas or whatnot. Now, here's another thing, too. Who is it? Laura Loomer and some more people are telling everybody to stay out of the big cities for the next 14 months and stuff like that. Here's the thing. Y'all got guns, man. I'm not running from nobody. I mean, I didn't run from nobody during the pandemic, and I ain't gonna run from nobody anyway. I'm not gonna stop living this United States of America. I'm not running from anybody. If I see something, I'm gonna say something. If I see something weird, if I need to call the military, I'll call the military. Hey, there's a group. I mean, I haven't seen that group before, and they kind of, they got. Y'all need to come check them. I need to come check them out. I know who to get in contact with, but I ain't running from nobody. That ain't happening. That's almost like it's almost like Republicans giving up the city. But either way, I sometimes I think of what I saw this weekend, and is what they wanted done to the Ukraine side, but it's happening with the Israel side. And I'm like, okay, so if the warships, if we're sending war, we are legit. Wait, hold on.
That's our newest aircraft carrier, the biggest
one in the fleet.
It's a piece of crap. It's freaking electric. A lot of it.
It is.
A guy I know in the Navy was talking about the steam catapults and things like that they use. They changed it from steam to electric, and they don't work as well.
We've got the Green New Deal warship.
Yeah.
Giddy up.
Jesus Christ.
But see, I'm a little different, Wayne, with the stay out of cities. Like, I'm not going to completely avoid them, but I'm not going to be walking downtown Minneapolis.
Well, I wouldn't walk down Minneapolis either.
I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what, Jason? You should keep an eye on that. You should keep an eye on that and see how developments are in Minneapolis. I wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a big population.
Especially up there.
Well, because, it'll be interesting because, like, down in Rochester, Minnesota, where the Mayo Clinic is, they relocated a bunch of Hmong after Vietnam. So it was just this huge thousands of people were immigrated in there. And now it's going to be interesting to see. I know Dearborn Mission just because I have friends out there, but there are several parts of the country where large populations from the Middle East got relocated. And this just in, folks, they hate Jews. They want death to the Jews.
They hate Christians too.
Yes, they do.
They say we'll go after the Saturday people and then we'll go after the Sunday people next.
Yep.
The only thing missing here is Russian ships. Or, well, I wouldn't say the Chinese Navy is going to do anything, but what if the Russian ships show up in the same place? I mean, with all the things that we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks, we are in undeclared World War III.
This is World War. That's right.
This is an undeclared World War III,
and some of it's on us.
Yes, a lot of it is on us.
And what I heard, like immediately after this attack, we were thinking about, okay, how's Jordan going to be? Is Jordan going to make it? Is he going to be the guy? Right after the attack, Jim Jordan said, we got to back Israel 100%. And Lindsey Graham said, if any move happens by Hezbollah, we got to attack Iran. And I'm thinking, I'm for Israel 100%.
Right.
But I don't want to get tricked into some dumbness.
Yeah. And believe me, those war hawks will come out and not think anything about common sense. Oh, word is out. Lockheed Martin's stock went up this morning.
All the defense contractor stock went bizarre.
Can you imagine people evil enough to do this, man? Evil enough. I mean, think the people that were in Israel during that attack, man. That's the worst thing they ever saw in their entire life. It's barbarism. Also, somebody can make a couple bucks.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And it's one of those things you let the smoke out of the jar. You can't get it back in.
Jason, when I saw those numbers go up for Lockheed Martin, I was like, all that needs to happen is the right people in government say, hey, look, you see how a little bit the numbers went up like that? Just think now, if we just do full scale, everything's going to go all the way. We can start making money again.
Well, the last time Israel declared war, I think, was 1973, if I remember right. Somebody can fact check me on that.
6-day war, yeah.
Yeah, but oil was at $5 a barrel. And then right after they declared war, oil shot up to $50 a barrel. And so I would anticipate that we will see a lot of markets. And people got to realize too, if you think of this like cancer, if you get a little skin cancer, it's kind of isolated, you cut it out or whatnot. And this is what's going on in Israel and with Hamas and all that. But that metastasizes really quick because you have these very traditional Islamic spread all over the world. And they are not like, they see those horrific videos. They're like, this is great. Death to the infidels. And I mean, that should be terrifying everybody.
Another thing too, Netanyahu. Now, I'm not saying he's the best person. I'm not. But, he's like, he's like vowing to change the Middle East with everything that's going on. I mean, the water and food and power is cut off in Gaza. Wait a minute, hold on. Hamas beheads Israeli soldiers in shock footage.
Damn. They're animals. It's just the way they follow this book. See, the way I look at Islam, I hear a lot of apologists all the time about Islam. And, to me, if you look at the text, thank you, Alan West, for this information, by the way. If you look at the text, the Sunnah, the Hadiths, and the Quran, you either believe that stuff or you don't, man. Yeah. There's no halfway through. You either, because that's where the beheading comes from. Yeah. It tells you to behead people in the Quran and cut their hands off and their feet off and all this insane stuff that they do. So you either believe it or you don't. There's no such thing as peaceful Islamic, somebody who believes in Islam. I mean, it is what it is. That I forget how many times the word kill is quoted in the Quran.
Well, as a general scripture standpoint, like Christianity that we're all familiar with is like, go spread the word and convince people that our way is right. And Muslim religions, many of the interpretations or the sects of Muslim religions take a very literal approach where they think that you destroy the opposition. Like, hey, follow Allah or else, not, hey, you should follow Allah. He's great. I mean,
don't look at it as a religion per se. Christianity is a religion and a way of moral compass and things like that. Islam is a political system that has religion in it. In Islam, there are taxes for non-Muslims in Islam in the books. It's called jizra. Jizra. If you're in a Muslim country and you're non-Muslim, you can live there. But when you walk by a Muslim, you have to duck so your head's lower than them. You have to pay the tax. It's not the religious thing is kind of, they're hiding behind that. You look at their language and they've got words for all kind of political things.
Yeah, I mean, they set up an entire societal structure. I got to say too, the funniest thing is the Free Palestine. So
I know, you're going to be freed in a second. Don't worry about
it. and just for the record, there's no such country as Palestine. Just for a record, those are Jordanian nomads.
Well, and my favorite was the LGBTQ folks in New York that have like trannies for Palestine. Right. I mean, fly over there, walk through a Palestine neighborhood. Well, let me know how that turns out for you.
I saw some footage of Saddam Hussein's Iraq. It's the footage that Donald Rumsfeld saw that got us in there, part of the way in there. But it shows these people up on this 3-story building on the roof, right? They got a bunch of guys up there and a couple soldiers up there with them. And they trot the first guy up to the edge of the roof. He's got a freaking Superman shirt on with a big S on it. And his hands didn't fly. His hands are tied behind his back. So
I remember that.
He didn't fly.
Yeah, no.
And then when he hit the ground, they killed him again.
Well, and I mean,
for being a homosexual, by the way, folks, for being a homosexual.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we're just talking gay people, like trannies. I don't know what they do to a tranny, but it wouldn't be good.
Yeah. I remember that photo because like they caught him in midair, kind of like, and his hands were still behind his head. Right.
And the worst part about that, when I went to Iraq, I saw those buildings.
Really?
And I saw the stage. They had an outdoor stage for a drive-in movie, but walk-in. They didn't drive in. They walked in and they watched the movie outside. A guy with a big saber freaking cutting people's heads off on the stage. Man,
You know, I have a question because I'm not gonna kick these people out. You know, if they want to say free Palestine, let them. You know, it's whatever your flavor, neighbor. But
yeah,
I got a question for you. If you are about freeing Palestine, why do you let Hamas, who terrorizes Israel, why do you let them control your government? I got a clip. I got a clip from Benjamin Netanyahu from 2011 when he was in front of Congress. He said, I want to sit down and I want to talk peace. I want to talk about how we can work this thing out. I'm just not sitting down with Hamas. I mean, you want to get rid of them? Fine. We can talk. But I'm not sitting down with the people that want to kill us. They have it. That's their mission. That's their charge. That's their charter, to kill Israelis. I'm not sitting down with them. And why would you?
And the thing is, Democrats are aligned with them.
Yeah.
And have been since Yasser Arafat.
And this is just a prime example of why America should worry about America. You know what I mean? Like, there's some terrible stuff. There is nobody in America has any full understanding of what's happening over there. These folks been killing each other for thousands of years.
Yeah, you're right.
And like us trying to jump in and impose our values, like this just ends poorly.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Ayla Wang of the New Federal State of China. Schumer and his ilk are over there, and I guess they're trying to be. I don't know what they're trying to do. They jumped on. Well, I'm not gonna say they jumped on Xi, but they were talking about the fentanyl situation, and they were also talking about Xi has the power to stop what's going on between Hamas and Israel, that he needs to take a bigger stand and whatnot. It's like, wait a minute, you're a senator and you're telling the CCP guys what he should do?
Schumer said that?
Schumer, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait a minute.
We live in strange times.
He's Jew too.
Oh, that's probably why he did it. Make himself look good while he's putting stacks in his back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, G, look. I gotta say this, but I'm not serious. So don't get mad with me. And I might raise my voice a little bit, but keep your people back.
We got all kind of pedophiles in the chat room, don't we?
It's an interesting chat room today, folks.
Yeah. But you know what? As long as they don't attack anybody, we won't go.
Say what you want to say.
Yeah, we won't go Netanyahu on them. So we
won't
let's go to a break and bring on Ayla.
Won't make you into a Shaheed.
We're on. Attention Americans, breaking news. Biden's dangerous plan for a digital dollar is underway. Don't be fooled. It won't benefit you. Take action now. The Federal Reserve phased deployment of FedNow began on July 1st, 2023. Be prepared. This may catch many off guard. Your hard-earned assets are in jeopardy. But there's a simple legal tax loophole to opt out of the digital dollar. Reach out to American Alternative Assets for a free wealth protection guide and discover how to safeguard your wealth with gold and silver IRAs against a failing dollar and volatile markets. Visit protectfrombiden.com. This invaluable guide provides precise steps to transfer your IRA or 401k into precious metals without any tax consequences. Be smart. Don't let Biden force you into using the government's new digital dollar. Visit protectfrombiden.com to get your free guide and get started. Again, that's protectfrombiden.com.
When I invented MyPillow, my passion was to help each and every one of you. And 20 years later, all of your support is what keeps us going. Because of you, we've been able to create thousands of USA jobs and help millions get the best sleep ever. To thank you, my employees and I are bringing you a limited edition MyPillow. The Giza Elegance MyPillow is made with my patented adjustable fill, the most amazing cotton, and a 2-inch pipe gusset. It has 4 custom loft levels, machine washable and dryable, and you get my 60-day money-back guarantee and 10-year warranty.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your limited edition 20th anniversary MyPillow queen size. Retails for $69.98, now only $19.98. That's right, get a queen size MyPillow for only $19.98.
From all of us here at MyPillow,
thanks, America! Welcome back to the show, ladies. Okay. We got feedback.
Got it.
Again. Yeah, okay. Okay, there we go. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I am Wayne Dupree, Hutch Bailey Jr., and J-Rob. Now, I'm not all three. I'm just calling out those 3 names. We're broadcasting on Red Voice Media Network, the number one independent conservative network that's out there. We are, and they're making waves, and they're making huge waves. And I'm so glad that they're there. Make sure you go to redvoicemedia.com and also follow them on Rumble. Today, we have our little sister, Ayla Wang of the New Federal State of China. I got a chance to spend some time with Saturn and Roy over the weekend on your network. Why don't you tell our audience about your weekend, well, whatever you can say about it, about your weekend broadcast too.
Absolutely. And hi, Jason. Hi, Hutch. Hi, Wayne. Thank you for having me back on the show. I think that this weekend has been worrisome for a lot of people as we saw a war is merging up and for New Federal State of China and for people who are watching Mr. Mao's broadcast in the past several years, we all understand that Xi was behind all these conflicts and the fires, and the Chinese Communist Party has been long planned about to spark a war in the Middle East.
Oh, okay. So, I just saw with the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal says that Senator Schumer criticized China's response to Israel when he met up with Xi. We were shocked to hear that, but are you saying this could be part of what Xi is looking at fermenting the war that's happening right now? Is that what you're saying?
I think that it is interesting to see that when Senator is doing a visit in China and visiting Xi in a public situation where we saw another wall coming up, with Israel people. And I think, what Miles has said last year in last August was he knew that exactly what the Chinese Communist Party would want to spark the fire, and it would most likely be the Middle East and mid-Europe, because the Russian-Ukrainian war has caused a huge trouble for the CCP in the United States, and that they want to continue it over, and that the Middle East is a complex situation for the Chinese Communist Party. The reason that I'm saying so was there was a couple quotes that I would like to share from Miles' broadcast with the audience. That one is, almost in every country of the Middle East, they view Papa Xi as their god. That in every country with their officials, when you post a photo of that, some officials that taking photos with Xi, you are almost revealed as god of the Middle East. And if you look at the CCP's officials' travel histories of their relationships and travel deals to the Middle East in the past several years, you will find it profoundly that even the vice premier had visited the Middle East and Saudi Arabia to talk about their oil and gas trades and that networks and implementing their digitalization of the international RMB yuan as payment solutions to all these countries, so that the Middle East, for some reason, has always been in the radar of the Chinese Communist Party. And another, interesting fact that we need to look at is Miles was the only one who speaks about the death of Ali Khamenei last year, and he was the only one who said that in front of the camera, saying that he confirmed that he has intelligence, and he was the first one to announce the death of Ali Khamenei, and that results a direct visit between Xi and the president of Iran, and they talked about the deals of Iran and how they would like to initiate a full attack in Israel. So the intelligence has been backdated in last year, but everything that Miles has been saying in the broadcast came true right now.
So I wonder, you say that the Chinese Communist Party visits the Middle East. I think it would be a little bit more valuable. Do we know which countries in the Middle? The Middle East got a lot of different players, and when you look at them with Saudi Arabia, to me, that's just to fuel the economy.
They went to Iran, though, didn't they?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
after the death of Ali Khamenei, she planned to visit Iran, and he intentionally changed or adjusted his travel schedule so it made him look like that he visited Syria, but ultimately he visits Iran, and this is where the Papa Xi had a deal with the president of Iran and how to take over the assets from the left of Ali Khamenei, and how to continue the deals of the natural gas and oil with the Chinese Communist Party, and how to enable Xi to back up Iran. All these deals and trades has been discussed in that meeting, and I think this is primarily why that for Israel people, they need to understand that the most harm causing them today was originated from the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Ayla, about I was going back through some Miles Go videos this week, and I'm like, I wonder what Miles has to say, and he laid out a direct line between Iran and Hezbollah and the CCP, and it's astounding. One angle that I saw too is it looks like there was a lot of digital infrastructure that failed in this, and I saw Miles talking a little bit about how some of the Iron Dome hacking and that sort of thing, and it feels like a lot of that is through Chinese support of Iranian hackers and that sort of thing. What do you guys know about that?
Well, I think the funniest thing when we talk about technology is we look at how Israel is important in building up and supporting these technologies to the US and to the Chinese Communist Party as well. So that makes all these relationships very complex to analyze. And I think that Miles has more intelligence that could be shared, with the government. And that in this part, we need to understand the core technology that the Chinese Communist Party is relying on today, the sky technology, the blockchain technology, all these technologies came from Israel support. That the CCP is not able to be in the leading, advanced areas if without the Israel technology support. However, that the Chinese Communist Party today is still backing up Iran and still backing up, people who are attacking Israel, and made up that plan in Xi's meeting to the president of Iran, and made that plan to launch a full attack against Israel.
What I'm worried about right now is I'm watching our warships, some of our work, not all, electric warships, mind you, but I'm watching them go toward Israel in a show of solidarity with Israel. I'm worried about what she's going to do with Taiwan. That will be a perfect opportunity for him to do something immediately with Taiwan, as Americans are watching what's happening over in Israel, because you can't cover everything. You got what's happening. That's why we said earlier, I don't know if you were able to listen, but that's why we said earlier, we're in an undeclared World War III. You have what's happening in Ukraine. You have and many people aren't talking about Serbia crossing over into Kosovo. And then you have all out Iran giving Hamas the go ahead to attack Israel. But then when you look at who is backing Iran, some people were saying it was Russia, but the way that we've been looking at it, Xi and China have been more friendly with Iran. I'm looking at here that they when China got sanctioned, the Iran-China agreed to a $600 billion trade deal after those sanctions. Can you speak a little bit more on that?
Absolutely, Wayne. And I think that your angle is exactly where the CCP doesn't want people to see it, right? That China and Iran has always been continuously having these trading relationships. And most importantly, is that the CCP wants to push up its digitalized RMB yuan into all the Middle East countries. And this has been implemented and for a very long time. So what you're looking for is exactly right, that when the United States or the Western other freedom-loving countries are trying to sanction against all these countries, top leaders, that CCP and Xi was actually trying to strengthen up its relationship with Iran, and so that it can leverage its power and leverage its negotiation deals when she probably meets with Biden next month. That the funniest thing is that we finally saw that Biden started to say that it is possible for him to visit Xi or to meet Xi next month. And, from what I know, that Xi would also raise a lot of conditions and deals with Biden.
Right.
I wonder, we look at some of the root of the causes of these things happening right now in this time frame is China's economic problems, the CCP's economic problems. Recently, as a matter of fact, yesterday, Tian Huiyu, a former party secretary and president of the Chinese Merchant Bank Corporation, was removed. Explain the significance of that, and what is the China Merchants Bank Corporation?
Absolutely. Tian Huiyu is one of the core figures around the vice premier of the Chinese Communist Party. And noticing that he was not the only one, from the top bank officials who was being expelled from the party or removed from his positions. He was actually being arrested by the CCP last year and was charged by the CCP's court this year, February. And now that, the Chinese Communist Party formally announced that it was expelled from the Chinese Communist Party and removed from his positions. Noticeably that, the core figures around the vice premier, Wang Qishan, that they were all, possessing very important positions in China's banking structures. China Merchant Bank is one of the biggest financial banks in China. There are also banks that were, indirectly controlled by the vice premier, the central bank and the China Agriculture Bank. All these bank officials, and if you look at their former president or their former secretary, you will find them, to be arrested and to be charged or to be expelled from the Chinese Communist Party one by one in the last several years. And, who would be the next? This would be the question, right? And Moss has always been said when all these core figures around the vice premier was being charged and arrested, the next would be the vice premier himself. Meaning that we will also probably be witnessing that Wang Qishan, the vice premier of the Chinese Communist Party, will also be charged and arrested.
It's astounding as all this stuff ramps up, and we've been talking about it for weeks on the show. And China had a hand with Iran, with the digital infrastructure, with the financing. Xi Jinping is coming here. The one question that really begs the question that kind of on my mind is how much of this is driven by his health problems? Because you guys have talked about that you suspect he's having health problems. And is it really he's on a short clock here and he's like, I got to get this done before I check out?
Well, I think, Jason, I like the way you said that. I do think that his health problem can be a huge trigger of Papa Xi's, potential act and plans. And I don't think that he has a long clock. I don't believe that he has a very long clock that he can wait and wait for the best timing. I think that he does have a very tight deadline that he has to finish everything. So, when Miles talked about Xi's health conditions, along with, other health conditions of, likewise, the Ali Khamenei and other top officials, that the new federal state of China and the whistleblowers movement always had the first-hand intelligence informations, and many of these intelligence that was not being said or being shown in front of the television, all these intelligence, came directly from our inner support within the Chinese Communist Party, who probably just be, aside from, Papa Xi and want to take down the CCP as well. So like you said, Jason, I do think he has a very tight deadline of finish everything that he wants.
Let me see. Yeah, okay. So with everything that's happening too right now, the stretch thin, we're seeing a little bit more pushback from the Chinese people in various spots, but not in mass. But we're seeing it here, we're seeing it there. Your movement, the whistleblower movement that you have right now, which we have lauded many times here on the show. Are you in other countries to where your voice is growing in other countries? Meaning, we see what's happening over here in the United States of America, and we also see what y'all are trying to do to help the American citizens not fall into the CCP trap that China has gone through. But in other countries, he's going to these other countries. Xi is going through these other countries, and he's laying seed, those, that communist seed that that they're laying here, that's being laid in other countries too. Are y'all in other countries like this? And I'm not asking you where, because I don't want to mess up anything, but are y'all reaching out to other countries just on the same way?
Absolutely, Wayne, and I think this is a very good question. I appreciate you mentioned that the new federal state of China has over 20 chapters all around the globe, and even in Taiwan, in Japan, in other Asian countries, and in Singapore. In European countries, we all have our own supporters. Many of the supporters, have been watching Mr. Mao's programs and broadcasts, and have been in contact with their local senators and congressmen as well. So every single, supporter within the whistleblowers movement are fighting this war in their own way, at their, earliest convenience, at their safest way to fight in this world. And there's one thing that I do not agree with you, though, and I do think that a lot of Chinese people has their opposing voice against the Chinese Communist Party. It's just a matter that we will not be able to hear it because the Chinese Communist Party is still here. That if there will be one day that you found a total, complete disappearance of the Chinese Communist Party, you will find that the Chinese people will rise up again and becoming an emergent power in this world. And they have been, friendly. They have been yawning for a healthy interaction with the West. I do think that there are lots of Chinese people who are waiting for that day to be countdown and to be coming. And many of the people are realizing that the CCP has left us no choice. Because if they can spark a war or a fire in the Middle East, which means that every single corner of this planet can also be the next target, right? And I would like to mention or remind our audience that don't remember the spy balloons in the United States. And Mouse even said that you will also see the spy balloons coming up in Japan, and there will not be just one balloons. There will be groups of balloons appearing up, above the sky of Japan and impacting heavily on their military infrastructure use. We do not have much time to defeat the Chinese Communist Party. This is where we are. This is not the United States problem. This is, every single freedom-loving country who are under the threats of the Chinese Communist Party. We all need to fight this together.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, this is a situation that we're in right now, especially when you look at the border. And I'm seeing reports that, you see the paragliders coming in to Israel, but they're coming in right through on the ground here. I mean, 300 to 600 CC or PLA soldiers a week is what I heard the last report. So all you got to do is say the word. I wanted to ask you, I was doing some research on the fly here. with the question of other countries. And I didn't realize that there's 10 countries in this world that have over 1 million Chinese citizens, or I don't know about citizens, but that live there. And we're number 3 in the United States with 5.4 million in 2019. But I wonder, are you making any headway, the NFSC, I mean, are you making any headway in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, who all have huge, over 1 million populations of Chinese?
Absolutely. Well, I think, all these countries, like you said, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, they have still been influenced by the Chinese Communist Party in a very important way. And the CCP still have its hands and fingers into these countries' politics. So even we saw a huge population of these, Chinese immigrants in all these countries, that does not mean that they were all safe. But, in the other way, that when we look at this, most of the Chinese people, they chose to immigrate to another country and not to live in Shanghai or Beijing or the top cities in mainland. Why? Because they want freedom. They want a structure that they can control their own lives, and they do not want to listen to the Chinese Communist Party or have their children to be bared into this authoritarian regime again, right? So I think this is primarily why, if you ask of the top officials, families, if you see where their kids go to receive educations, you will never find that they send their own kids to the top schools in China. They always bought house for their children overseas and in the States and in New Jersey or in Manhattan. And probably the top luxury mansions were also bought by the Chinese Communist parties for their families. Chinese people are using their own hands and feet to choose where they want to live because of the Chinese Communist Party. But most people want to return back to the homeland because this is a way where they were raised. And the only reason they leave China was to get themselves out of the suffering from the Chinese Communist Party.
Ayla, it's astounding just to have you guys in the show and to see some of these things that Miles has laid out come to fruition. And before we get you out of here, we're going to encourage the audience to go to nfscofficial.com. Folks, when you got a half hour to kill, go on there, check out articles, check out videos. They have receipts. It's going to blow your mind. But Ayla, what should we be looking out for this week? And where else should people be following you guys at?
Absolutely. Well, I think, like you said, nfscofficial.com has lots of information about our organizations and our missions. You can also find our, Twitter account or Getter account on NFSC Speaks and NFSC TV. I think for the next week, we should be highly focusing on, the Israel issues that we've already seen and see how the Chinese Communist Party would publicly announce, their actions or their attitudes against Israel's. And you might also find signals for their next steps.
If there's anything you would like to leave for our audience before we go to break, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Win. Well, I think that, as every single, thing that Miles said about the Middle East has almost come true as of right now, I don't think the United States have lots of time to deal with the threats coming from the CCP. That, the Chinese Communist Party had left us no options. We're looking at a complete elimination of this regime and a comprehensive economic decoupling with the Chinese Communist Party, or else when the Chinese Communist Party became more matured, it will definitely defeat on the United States and they will act even harder and stronger. Remember, they have already released the CCP virus to this land, and when Chinese Communist Party act more crazy and when their strengths and strategies are becoming more powerful, that the loss and cost of the United States will pay even more.
Well, Ayla, I want to say thank you for joining us again this week. Thank you for your information. And we give a major shout out to the new federal state of China. And we will see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break here on Red Voice Media Network. Ayla Wang, Wayne Dupree, Hutch Bailey Jr., and J-Rob from Minnesota, Jason Robinson. We will be right back.
When I invented my pillow, my passion was to help each and every one of you. And 20 years later, all of your support is what keeps us going. Because of you, we've been able to create thousands of USA jobs and help millions get the best sleep ever. To thank you, my employees and I are bringing you a limited edition My Pillow. The Giza Elegance My Pillow is made with my patented adjustable fill, the most amazing cotton, and a 2-inch pipe gusset. It has 4 custom loft levels, machine washable and dryable, and you get my 60-day money-back guarantee and 10-year warranty.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your limited edition 20th anniversary My Pillow queen size. Retails for $69.98, now only $19.98. That's right, get a queen size My Pillow for only $19.98.
From all of us here at My Pillow,
thanks America! We interrupt today's programming to bring unfortunate news. Biden's dangerous plan for a digital dollar is underway. Don't be fooled. It won't benefit you. So take action now. The Federal Reserve's phased deployment of FedNow began on July 1st, 2023. Be prepared. This may catch many off guard and put your hard-earned assets in jeopardy. But here's the good news. There's a simple legal tax loophole to opt out of the digital dollar. Speak to someone at American Alternative Assets for a free wealth protection guide and discover how to safeguard your wealth with gold and silver IRAs against a failing dollar and volatile markets. Dial 833, the number 2 USA Gold. Yes, call now, 833-287-2465. This invaluable guide provides precise steps to transfer your IRA or 401k into precious metals without any tax consequences. Don't let Biden force you into using the government's new digital dollar. Call 833, the number 2 USA Gold. Yes, call now, 833-287-2465. Act swiftly, 833-287-2465.
Welcome back to the show. Wayne Dupree, Hutch Bailey Jr., J. Rob from Minnesota, Jason Robinson. Listen, as we were talking about Hamas and the Iran and Israel situation, keep your eyes on that, y'all. Keep your eyes on it. Keep your whenever you see little small stupid stuff that show up on TV or social media, just push that to the side. Watch what's happening, because that can easily flow over here.
Yeah, don't think this is a fantasy.
No,
you could look up in the air and you're not going to see hang gliders because these people are already here.
Right.
5 million of them are already here, representing Mexican drug cartels, Hezbollah, Hamas, representing the Chinese People's Liberation Army. If you don't have a long gun and ammunition, you're wrong. You owe it to your neighborhood to have that, because there's nobody coming to your rescue. If there's 1,000 people coming down, you think they're going to send the police? You got to take care of yourself. This could happen here. They're already here. They're here. You saw the bikes in New York City. You think they're making payments on those bikes by delivering food? Somebody else is buying them.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because there's been a ton of focus and energy about the Ukrainian-Russia conflict. And folks, that has other than all the money we're shipping over there, like that doesn't land in America. What's happening in Israel lands in America because they have activated a holy war essentially. And Iran, who is one of the biggest promulgations of terror organizations, and multiple other countries, they have sleeper cells all around the world that they're going to activate. And this one, it's funny in hindsight, like it makes perfect sense. You've got Joe Biden who falls asleep, can't complete a sentence, and poops himself in public.
And this is Obama, man. He's being used.
Right.
You remember all the different rhetoric that Obama used to say. That was real, man. He went to the Muslim world and kissed their ass.
Right.
He did that.
Barack Hussein Obama sure did. And now, I mean, you have all those countries, like they don't want Israel in that part of the world. They want Israel gone.
Look at our own Congress. Our own Congress. I mean, the whole squad comes out against it. These people need to be expelled from Congress. There is no way you can either be loyal to the Quran and Islam or the United States, not both. The Constitution.
But they came out as how do we use half-assed? They half-assed it. You know, they came out and said, "Oh, yeah, can't believe what happened to Israel." We feel bad. But then they turn around. But we think that everybody should de-escalate. We think that Israel should just pull back.
That's Hamas's talking
You know
point.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Hamas's talking point. That Secretary of State Blinken had to delete his tweet.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah.
We're turning into, I'm done in a second, but this is American Nazis. And, you know, it used to be something that people would just turn away and not listen to you when you mentioned the N-word, the Nazi N-word. But it's what they're doing. They hate Jews. They want to put you in re-education camps. They want to steal the elections. I mean, it's all right there. They want to start a world war. We got to start calling these Democrats what they are and make these people choose. Do you want to be a left-wing American political party, or do you want to be a Nazi like these people?
Well, and that's what's remarkable is I tend to be an isolationist when it comes to foreign policy, because like Russia, Ukraine, those folks have been fighting for thousands of years over chunks of land, and there is no good that comes from us getting involved. And if you look at the Middle East, same thing. The Arabs and the Jews have been killing each other for thousands of years, and for us to try to go in there, get involved, and do something with it is going to be crazy. And I look at how it's going to impact us. I mean, we have no weapons because we shipped them all to Ukraine. We have a shortage of ammunition and weapons. We have no troops, record troop shortages. We have no money because we're $33.5 trillion in debt. We have, now we're supporting wars on 3 fronts soon, once China moves on Taiwan.
4 fronts. Don't forget the southern border.
Right, yeah. Well, and
that's the most dangerous one.
I was going to say that's not even counting what's happening in America. So we're going to send more money, more ammo, more people. They're trying to take your guns. They just set up this office of gun control or whatever. And I mean, millions of people have poured in. And look at Israel. And just to reiterate the point, all that horrible stuff you saw was conducted by, I've seen different estimates, but about 1,000 people, 1,000 soldiers. And we've let 2 million people in. Who knows how many of them have bad intentions?
7 million we let in.
Right.
And 5 million of them are single men.
Yep.
Well, if it's only 1,000, then they got a pipeline for more, because breaking news, Hamas says it will begin executing an Israeli civilian captive in return for any new Israeli bombing of civilian houses without pre-warning.
Sucks to be in.
So
I mean, this is
I'm sorry. And Robert F. Kennedy announces third party run.
Did you see they're going to have him? What's wrong with the Republican Party? They're going to have that guy at CPAC. Robert, a presidential candidate running against the Republican candidate has been invited into the House. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely, we're so out of sync right now. Because we're getting ready to be in charge. That's what this whole thing's about, in my opinion.
Well, I was going to say the Republican Party, they're trying to figure out how can we lose. Like, they just want to get close. I mean, it's all about fundraising. How do we
derailing Trump? That is
right.
That is the motive, the mission, the whole entire focus of the entire thing. Because with Donald Trump in charge, you can't do these kind of things, and there's trillions of dollars at stake. I mean, the Israeli war, they have their own military technology, but I'll tell you, the funding, I don't even want to go down that road, the funding part. It just, we don't have any money.
No, we don't.
Like I say, it's not the Israeli war. That's going to metastasize in the next 30 days all over the world.
See, I'm a little different. I think we have an obligation to protect Israel. That's just me. I mean, I think this is a Judeo-Christian country. They are surrounded by savages. the communists in America want them gone, I think that is a righteous cause. I don't think fighting in Iraq or any of that. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about defending Israel. I think is important, and I don't think we have to have one U.S. troop to do it.
My thing about defending them comes from my Christian upbringing.
Mine too,
and that's just that. We protect God's chosen people. But that's now. I know there needs to be an accountability and stuff like that. I understand, but what happened this weekend?
Oh,
you can't walk that back. I mean, you can't walk away from that and say,
you let that go there.
Nine Americans died. 9 Americans died. So, and we already know how Biden feels when Americans die. He just turns his back on it. Look at Afghanistan. We still haven't got revenge for the death of those Marines yet. Well, I know. He bombed a family. He bombed a regular old family and kids, and he'll never see war crimes for that. But he's never gotten any revenge for killing Americans over there, and albeit he won't get any revenge here, because who's he going to go after? Hamas.
Here's the thing: they didn't just kill 9 Americans; they've got Americans hostage,
right?
Because it's big money to take American hostages. Because Biden just gave them $6 billion for American hostages, or prisoners, whatever you want to call them. What's the difference? This whole big thing is you got to stand. The way I look at it too is Israel was formed in 1947 after the Holocaust was discovered by the world. And everybody from that's why there's different ethnicities of Israelis, because Jews from all over the world went to Israel so they could have their own country. So, because everywhere else in the world, including the United States, Jews were hated in the 30s. And then they moved right into genocide. The same people talking in Washington, Hillary Clinton, about re-education camps and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, same as Nazis.
I think the difficulty that I have with our involvement in Israel is, where do we draw the line? And I think, as I try to think of a principle that we can adopt that says this, like, if they were attacking England, do we send troops in? If they were attacking Italy, do we send troops in? If they were attacking Poland, if they were attacking Ukraine, and I mean, what Hamas did was horrible, and Hamas should be held accountable and string them all up, public execute them. I mean, right now, if they've got our Americans hostages, I would fully support sending troops in to rescue our American citizens. But ultimately, it's foreign. I am no geopolitical expert, but I know that, I mean, just my opinion is we need to focus on Americans. And like I say, if they've got American citizens, we should go in there and wipe them out. Like, send in all the SEALs. Let's go.
I think another way to look at this is it's not about countries. This is jihad. This is Islam against the rest of the world.
Right.
Because every country has Muslims in it, including this one. And there's a word for it. It's called the Ummah. They want to take over everything on the whole planet. You look at the chat room, what some of these people are saying. That's what they're about. They don't care about countries. They care about religion.
Right.
And religion is just a label. When it comes to Islam, it's Islam versus Christianity. We're either going to get wiped out or we're going to stop them, because this isn't going to. We're going to be dead, and it's going to still be going on. Because it's just too many of them.
Right.
But
I'm looking. That's a stealth bomber. Is that over there?
If it's the B-52, that one's an old video.
Is it really? Okay, all right.
Old plane.
No, not B-52. The stealth bomber.
Yeah, the stealth bomber.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's old. That's from a couple years ago.
That's the old one.
Yeah.
That's
I
old?
got to say, Twitter
Damn.
Twitter or Telegram are the best
Still,
places to follow, but you really got to watch because there's
still,
a
that's
ton
a
of
color
videos.
force there, boy.
Right.
I mean that triangle thing, and you're talking about somebody that worked with the stealth fighter. So when those stealth fighters flew and those stealth bombers flew at the dusk of the sun going down, oh, it looked wicked. It looked wicked. I mean, as the sun is going down, that's when the sorties go out. You know, that's when they fly and stuff, and they always fly at night. Man, you don't see them, but you hear them, and you hear that thing. I mean, it don't sound like a regular aircraft going over top. But yeah. So yeah, Kennedy is third party, and let's see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me get you updated on some of these headlines too, because
the news is just flying right now. It's
crazy. It is. Gravest intel failure in an Israeli history.
Yeah, convenient, huh?
Yeah. Kremlin sees high risk of third party entering conflict.
Yep.
Infiltrators of Lebanon killed. Sydney Jewish community warned to stay home. Celebrations in London. Kosher restaurants windows smashed. Practice assault in plain sight.
I gotta say, we've been talking about it for weeks, where we're talking about what are the odds we don't have an election in 2024.
Yeah.
My projection on that, like I was like 10%, 15. I probably am up to 25% now.
It says here that Hamas was practicing these things right in front of Israel's face, and then they just did it. That sort of gives me pause to what China's doing to Taiwan. They're flying over Taiwan almost every day. They're getting close. I mean, they're adding more planes in the air every day over Taiwan. Sooner or later, that's it. Sooner or later, Hamas gave Israel the impression that it wasn't ready for a fight, said the source close to Hamas, describing plans for the most startling assault since it, and they did it on they did it when they knew that Israel was going to be down.
You know, when you look at the possibility of things being connected, I saw something this morning that 40 Rhino pro-McCarthy Republicans in the House are starting to float the idea that we got to elect McCarthy back into the slot because that's the easiest way to get money for Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and wait till they put in the money for Israel bill, and they're going to put money for Ukraine on the same bill.
Yeah,
you know that's coming, folks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else that's coming: the military draft.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
to have a meat grinder, you have to have meat.
You know, it's funny you say that because I'm reading this book series, Galaxy's Edge, and it's a kind of a fun book, sci-fi book series. And the Republic, the government, has been lying about how much troops and assets it had for years. So when they're attacked by an outside force, and they're like, "Oh, well, we spent billions of dollars on our military all over these years. This will be no problem." And then they discover, oh shit, we don't really have the troops or the weapons or all that. So it's just kind of funny because I'm looking at what's going on in America, and I'm like, we got no money, we got no weapons, we got no oil.
I'm trying to figure out how the part I don't get about the sleeper cells here. How are they going to get them weapons? That's the part I haven't figured out yet. You know, how are you going to arm if there is a force? I mean, somebody explain to me why they're giving so many military age males coming across. I mean, there's not a whole lot of explanations to that.
It's a
5
lot.
million. That's bigger than our army.
It's a lot.
So how do you arm that?
And on top of that, those are males. Those aren't transsexuals, and those aren't homosexuals. Those are boys. Those are men coming across.
That are coming from violent countries, and they're broke.
Yeah.
And see, we're right on the verge of it. In the next month or two, it's going to be apparent to everybody, because you can't have that many military age males without crime going up.
Well, and here's the thing too. You don't need millions of these folks to activate and cause trouble.
True.
1,000 people did what happened in Jerusalem. You could have 10 cells activated of 1,000 people, and there would be such horrific damage done to America. And these are the folks that will like strap a bond to themselves and walk into a coffee shop. And Americans can't understand that. Like, a lot of Americans can't understand you getting up to go to church on Sunday. Like, oh, why do you do that? Sunday I want to sleep in. These folks are so committed to their religion, they feel the highest honor is to die for their religion. And it's something that we can't even process in America.
You know, the reason why I said that there probably has to be a caravan or someone in the ground tunnel that's getting more of them in, because 250 died over the weekend. Of that 1,000, 250 died. According to the Israeli website. I was looking at the J Post, and I was well, you can't go there now because there's too many requests.
That says a lot more about the corrupt United States media than anything else.
Yeah, shut that website down. The Jerusalem Post has been shut down, which is honestly, but that's a good thing, because people aren't looking to America for that stuff. They're going there.
They don't trust the U.S. media.
No. Which is
well, and it's remarkable too how many, like, we got together with a couple different friend groups this weekend, and it was amazing how many people didn't know what was happening. And I'm like, for all the talk about Ukraine, like, this is World War III, folks. When we were talking about something big happening, this is far bigger than anything I would have predicted.
It penetrated I was at camp and I saw it.
Right.
You know, and I didn't listen to any networks or anything like that. It came from the internet.
I didn't either. You know what? I didn't either. I did not turn on the regular networks to look at what was going on. Everything that I went, I saw clips and clips and clips and clips. And then I went to go and search overseas websites, Al Jazeera and all that stuff and everything. Yeah, I did. I went to RT because I wanted to see what Russia and they were saying about it. I did not turn on. Well, the Fox News clips that I saw was online, but they were trying to tone down everybody that said the money that Biden gave to Iran was a launch into this happening. And again, I'll go back to the common denominator. Did Hamas do it before the money, or did Hamas do it after the money? They did it after the money.
Or did Hamas do it to get more money from American hostages?
Exactly. Now, check this out. Iran, man, they pimps, boy. They pimps. They got the 6 billion or 600 billion?
6 billion.
Okay, they got
I think 6.5 billion
from Biden. But they signed a 600 billion relationship with China. Okay. I mean, they pimps. They pimps over there. And
well, and this just in too, we traded 5 hostages of theirs for 5 hostages of ours, and they have not identified those 5 hostages.
Yeah.
The whole thing's fishy.
Yeah. I think just how Israel's defense have just failed. Like, that's the part that blows me away.
They flew in on even my tweet, I was like, paragliders? It's like paragliders?
Where'd they launch them from? Where'd they launch them from? And again, I go back to the beginning of the show. I saw two IDF soldiers say there's no damn way that we would not have seen that. So you got to ask yourself what's going on.
And
are they trying to block
intelligence? U.S. intelligence didn't know about it?
IDF didn't, and they're better than ours.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
I was going to say, I can believe U.S. intelligence didn't, because think of how bad our intelligence agencies are. Yeah. I mean, seriously, you just keep putting people in there because of their race and their gender, and then suddenly you're shocked. And then, I mean, can we just stop with this? The biggest terrorist group we have to worry about is MAGA.
I saw the Secretary of the Army, and why in the hell we would put a female as the Secretary of the Army is beyond me, but we did. And I saw her say over the weekend, or before Friday, actually, that America's faith in the military is very, very strong. No, lady, it's not. It's not. I don't trust them. I don't think they can save me. No,
I know they can't.
Well, I was quoting Hutch today on Twitter and I said, it's time to quit pretending, because if you look, Joe Biden, the media can tell you this guy's great. The media can tell you this guy's smart. He's such a world leader, but everybody sees he is some old, confused man that shits himself. And we can say how great our media is, but they're going to see that it's some tranny out there that can't even meet the physical requirements. And we can pretend all we want that we have this killing force, and the world looks at that and goes, are you kidding me? Like, are you guys for real?
Yeah. Yeah. That somebody was commenting on me when I was talking about the $6 billion, and I was like, don't you find it strange that every time that they do give Iran money, it's always an excuse? Well, it was their money. We just had it in the bank. We just gave it back to them.
Right.
We just released it because we couldn't hold it anymore, and we had to give it back to Iran.
And look, stop blaming it on Biden, folks.
Right.
Biden was installed there as a one-term scapegoat. This is Obama. You look at who sent the first pallets of cash to Iran. It was not Biden. It was Obama, Valerie Jarrett, and John Kerry.
Wait. Send it on what? You said pallet?
Yeah, remember the cash?
Yeah. No. Somebody corrected me. That's why I was seeing what you said and what they said. Did you say pallet?
Pallets.
Okay. That's what somebody corrected me on, because
I don't know. I didn't see it.
No. You're right. It said I put pallet of cash. They were like, Wayne, it was pallets.
Yeah.
Stone cold
cash.
Hard cash.
Probably all kind of different countries' currency too. Because who wants a dollar?
So, yeah, man. Okay. But
that'll be the interesting side effect. Is here we got another war to put on the credit card, and then all these bad guys, these countries like Iran, like they're not going to want to use our currency. You know what I mean? So that speeding to BRICS, would you rather have a currency that forces you to do tranny stuff and follow all these rules and they can hold your money up, or would you rather have BRICS that don't care what you do and they let you do?
How did all these Islams find this show?
I don't know. It's crazy. We are big over in the Islamic community.
Islam. We're pretty good in Islam. And Allah.
Folks, tune in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you want to find out. Netanyahu's giving classes. You want to find out. Again, yeah. So, all right, we got to get ready to roll out of here. Actually, Jason, give me some last thoughts.
Hey, folks, no time to go crazy. Stock up though. Canned foods, batteries, alcohol. Make sure you have stuff around your house, because we could be facing. Think of when COVID first happened and some of the shortages. Not just talking World War III, but we could have just shortages in supply chains. So make sure you got enough core essentials.
Or you could have men in the street shooting at you in your neighborhood. I know that's something that Americans have never thought of, because nobody here's ever seen that. But it happens in every other country. Don't think it can't happen here. Get ready. Don't be. Remember one thing. We got a lot of military age males here, and most of them are armed.
Mm-hmm.
Civilians.
And they aren't in the military.
Right.
They're on the farm. And,
buy ammo.
Ammo's key.
Swamp Fox. Listen, something happened. I briefly talked about it on the radio over the weekend, but Morgan State University was holding a homecoming, and 4 individuals were caught on camera. Didn't even belong to the school. Were caught on camera going through the university, shooting up the college. They're on the lookout for these 4 individuals, and that's here in Baltimore. What's crazy about that is a couple months ago there was a block party that some people had went and started shooting up there, and they couldn't find those people for a month or 2.
Should have got the permit.
Exactly. Now the Morgan State thing happened, I think it was last weekend. Well, Bowie State, where my daughter goes, they had their homecoming this weekend, and there was a shooting there. It so happened that it happened after my daughter had left, so she didn't get caught up in it. Talk to your children. Make sure that you are prayed up, and make sure that you are praying for them, because schools aren't what they were when we were going to school. So make sure you do that. We will be back tomorrow here on the Red Voice Media Network. My name is Wayne Dupree. We got Hutch Bailey Jr. and Jason Robinson, J-Rod from Minnesota. Keep in the news. Keep on researching. Don't forget to check out redvoicemedia.com and also their Rumble channel. And if you are watching us on Rumble on the Wayne Dupree Show channel, don't forget to click subscribe and hit the notification button. Hit the follow button. Yeah, that's right. See you tomorrow.